Well, hello, my friend.
Hello.
Wow, we've had a week. I mean, we've had a week with business, we've had a week with, especially you, with personal, and we're still here.
Right? Yeah, no. Definitely acknowledging the space that we're both in a little bit like on two wheels, uh pivoting with
Lots of,
whatever life is throwing at us.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, getting ready to move. You can see like my background's a little bit different than before.
Yes. Moving like tomorrow. So, everybody on, she's moving tomorrow. And I just have to celebrate us. We delivered 4 days of awesomeness even in amongst life. I mean, because we both have life going on like everybody else. There's life. It's happening all around us while we're trying to build these dreams of ours. And we did it. We did it.
Yeah. Yeah,
We
no, it
did
was
some awesomeness. We really did. Got great feedback coming back from
yeah.
those that attended.
Right. Yeah, it was amazing. I think a lot of transformation for everyone involved, a lot of clarity
Mm-hmm.
and some doors to explore afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly didn't everyone didn't walk away with a definitive like this is exactly what I'm doing, full steam ahead. There was some discovery in the process too,
Mm-hmm.
and that said I was headed in this direction. This is where I thought I needed to go, where I should go. There's that word that kept coming up for me
Mm-hmm.
personally.
Yeah.
And the realization that you could keep going that direction
Mm-hmm.
and plow through um, kind of same as usual or just with a kind of a tweak, or could let that that discovery, that reflection sit and craft a new way of moving forward. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it ran the spectrum.
Yes, it
uh,
did. Yes, it did. And it's crazy too because if some of you are new, we actually shifted right before the workshop because we did a celebration um, with our round one mastery circle members, and the feedback we kept getting is it wasn't the result that everyone got over the 12 weeks, it was the feeling that everybody was leaving with, that oh, I can do this and not grind. There was so much growth over grind. And so we're like, oh my goodness, we need to shift our workshop a little bit and lean more into, whenever you're going after a big goal or a dream or whatever it is, there's growth along that path. There
yeah,
has to be, because the person that set the goal, the dream, the vision, whatever, isn't the person that arrives
mm,
at the
yes,
finish line,
yes,
because there's growth along the way. And you can either do it pushing,
right,
grinding, making yourself miserable, or you can do it in flow, in
yeah,
a more of a pull energy. And I think that's what we're kind of leaning. I know that's what I'm leaning into, and I know that's what you're leaning into. And our clients are starting to see, oh, we can live a different life than we did in our corporate jobs. It's like,
yes,
yeah, you get to define it the way you want.
yes, that default way of being. And the mastery circle by design has been supportive of growth from the beginning
Yeah.
to the end. It really is the magic of being in that container, that 12-week process where I am going to experience life and the obstacles that either I throw up or are external to me.
Mhm.
And by staying focused on the one goal
Mhm.
and being in that container supporting you, there's that opportunity to do that learning. I think what the next level is not only the growth from the beginning to the end of the goal, but even growth in how we approach
Mm.
setting the goal. And we
Yeah.
had leaned into that, for, the good, great, and glorious results, that it's no longer black and white.
Mhm.
This next level is layering in the feeling side, and I see us eventually, like, we're leading with the feeling. Like, what is the feeling you're trying to create? And then you work backwards, which
Right.
I laugh because it's like we both are trained mindset coaches and know where the feeling sits in kind of that
Yeah.
middle spot between thoughts and actions,
Hmm.
and how having a handle on that feeling can really influence both of those.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's it's pretty amazing to see how we shift away from that striving, achievement based, outcome based, you know, attachment to the result,
Yeah.
uh, and allow for that growth. Not in a, um, not that you're not still going somewhere purposefully,
Right.
trying to create something, but the journey becomes a lot more supportive in to learn,
Yeah.
to
Well, yeah.
show,
Well, you're not crawling over the finish line, right? I mean,
right.
you're like skipping or, singing still or, still showing up in life the way that you want.
Well, I think that we all judge ourselves really harshly against our goals as achievers. Uh, and so we make ourselves miserable along the way. And like this idea of accomplishing something and enjoying it along the way seems like it's for other people
Yeah.
sometimes,
Or
right?
it's just so out of reach. That's not how we're conditioned. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like self-care for moms. Like, oh, that's nice for you, but I'm living in this reality,
Right, right,
right?
right, right, right.
It just feels like, oh, I can see like how that would be way better, but like that's not for me. And so creating that container that shifts us away from what we're conditioned to do, the SMART
Mhm.
goals, measurable, time bound,
Yeah.
realistic, like all those words just are
Ugh.
very constraining,
Yeah.
right? I think it sucks the joy out of like
It does. It's
going for
completely out. All of it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's kind of do a highlight over the 4 days. So we started with shifting away from the SMART goals because one of the things that we acknowledged is, a SMART goal just says the time. I'm going to reach this goal by this time, but it doesn't really talk about the milestones in between. So we came up with a focus goal and a framework to get away from SMART goals into more of a what am I going to? So I have this big goal and now let's chunk it down. And what am I going to focus on? What is doable, really doable in 12 weeks? Because we use a 12-week cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's it's super key. You have to hold that space for that big goal. It's the it's the fuel that keeps you showing up on the hard days
Hmm.
when things are not progressing the way you think they should and all those obstacles.
Should.
But, you know, I think about the business journey as an example. Like when we got certified, we thought, oh, this is going to, like, the next steps are easy, right?
Yeah, the
The hard,
certification was the hard part. Now getting the business, they're just going to come.
yes, people are just going to be knocking down our door. Can't wait to pay for us. Can't wait to be coached with.
Right.
We are amazing coaches. Everyone said it.
Yeah.
Like, but it's that when the reality of moving towards the goal, well, if you're trying to bite off that big chunk all at once,
Yeah.
of course you're going to stop. Like,
I mean, you think of all the facets of you got to get people need to know who you are. So you post, you got to do a website, you got to do a funnel, you got to do this, you got to do this. You got it's like just focus. So here it is. You focus on what what am I trying to accomplish and what am I going to focus on in 12 weeks? And then see what happens.
My favorite exercise that day was the we had them use an empathy map of
Oh,
what are you thinking, what are you saying, what are you feeling, what are you doing, and we did it from our present day self
mhm.
and our future self that's accomplished our big goal.
Yeah,
And that was so eye opening for me
sure.
personally
Yeah.
to be like, wow, like of like that person that I want to be and the way I'm showing up now, the things I'm thinking or saying or are just that's it's a big gap, and the realization of I could be thinking and saying and feeling these future me things
Right
right
now,
now.
right now. So the awareness, I mean, it was just the awareness. It's like, oh, I get to choose to think this today.
Right.
I don't
That's
have to wait. What a joyous journey that's going to be, right?
and
Yeah.
that and especially if we truly are trying to achieve a feeling
Yeah.
to be, and again, ding 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 mindset coaches, right? Like
Well,
you
it's
have access
obvious.
to it right now.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's so
You
easy to tell somebody that, but to live it yourself, that's why it's so good to have people, community. It's
Yeah.
like you're not even thinking, you could feel that way right now. And you're like, oh, I could. And
Well,
sometimes it takes people pointing it out to you.
yeah.
Duh. Yeah.
Well, and I think it also goes to show the conditioning that we've gotten around
Yeah.
goal setting and that it isn't a feeling process.
No,
It has nothing to do with our feelings.
no.
It's all these very
Mhm.
logical, rational, self discipline,
Yeah. Yeah.
get to work stuff.
Bottom line stuff, you're
Yeah.
gonna be profitable or we're gonna kick you out the door. Yeah.
Right.
So day 1 was a big day. I mean, it was fun how we started really big and then just started really honing in because you gotta start somewhere and usually it's big. So the second day, we took everyone through our earn framework. So this focused on, okay, I've got a gajillion tasks to get to the end of this. Where do I start? And we came up with a beautiful framework. There's questions, and based on yes or no, more yeses bump up on your list. And it's so eye opening when you start using this framework and you're like, oh, well, it's obvious. 1, 2, and 3. There's my 3 tasks that really need to focus in on, and then you can get to planning instead of just seeing a list of 25, 50, 100 tasks. It's like, no, no,
Right.
no, 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 no. I got this
Yeah.
one thing or 2 or 3 that's really going to move the needle for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and what you said right there on the end is the key to the whole framework is
The needle movers.
does the needle actually move? Is
Yeah.
there a noticeable impact? There's one
Mhm.
question at the end of the worksheet that we have people work through is that if I did nothing else, would this move me closer to would be this be the one thing that would move me closer to my goal? And it really by that time going through all the questions, you're like, you clearly have an understanding of this is the one or no, it's not. And
Yeah.
so, having gone through it a couple times myself, with the groups, it's always fascinating to see for myself and other people like the light bulb moment of
Yes.
like,
Oh,
oh, if I
yeah.
only did these three things consistently over the next 12 weeks, like
Mhm.
I could move a lot of ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great framework. And then day 3, we focused on time because hmm, we have to look at time. We just have to, because I don't care your background. It doesn't matter. We all get 24 hours in a day, all of us. And it is a commodity that I don't care who you are, we all get the same 24 hours. And choosing how to spend that time is what we focused on. If you want to sleep, then we need to factor that in. If you want to eat, you need to factor that in. And we ran through a scenario in a 24-hour day, just on average, sleeping, eating, bathing, all of these things. We
Working.
working, yeah, yeah, being a human, having kids or having a partner or whatever. Our calculation came to like negative 2.5 or 4.6 hours every day. And it's like, well, no wonder we're all running around like chickens with our heads cut off,
Right.
because we never take the time to just take a breath to say, how long is this going to take? Instead of, well, sure, I can take this on.
Yeah.
Let me just add it on to everything else I can't get done, because that's what we do.
Well, and so many people who are very, I mean, we're very successful. They're
Mhm,
killing it in their business, and they come to us because they're like, I want to do this new thing, launch a podcast, publish a book, but I never find the
mhm,
time to
mhm,
prioritize it, or my self discipline. Like we put it on ourselves, like something's wrong with us, and it's like, well, no, you already have a full plate,
mhm.
doing the things that you're doing in your life. Of course, no matter how much you want to do the thing,
Yeah,
right? It
yeah,
needs its own time,
yeah,
and that requires some stepping back, looking at the high level. What is my priorities? What are my
mhm,
trade-offs? And everyone has some space in their day that is could be utilized a little bit better, redirected, right?
yeah.
Inevitably. But it's how do we do all of this? Um, Not in a punishing, restrictive, like I've got every
Every
15
moment.
minute segment planned out for my day, right? Yes, yes,
One
Jenny.
hiccup, and it's like, that's it. The day's gone.
Right, and we think it's because we're not disciplined enough, or
Yeah.
if we didn't try hard enough, or we must not want the thing.
Or this is my favorite. I need to get up an hour earlier than I already do. And I already struggle getting up at the time that I get up. Yeah. It's like, no,
Yes, yes.
no.
We use the analogy of packing for a trip,
Yeah.
right? You got your suitcase. Are you throwing everything in the kitchen sink in
Mhm.
there, or are you actually looking at the space you have available for
Right.
things and picking the things that are most important? And so that's really what the time piece is. Um, Again, like all of this work we did this week. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. Um,
Good on life.
it's the big picture and the small picture,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Because the time thing can be so overwhelming
Yeah.
and feel impossible because this is it's in a mousetrap that you can engineer to work perfectly all the time.
No, 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 no.
And so you can start to feel like, what's the point? um you know I'm going to spend all this time figuring this out and it's never going to work anyway.
But it's not really that. It's not, it's really stepping back and going, where is my time going? And is that aligned to with what I want to go?
Right.
And I was the perfect example, right? When we first looked at my schedule, it was like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed just looking at this. And so I had to take a step back and go, am I scheduling all of these things in my time because it makes me feel worthy, makes me look busy? That's corporate conditioning, right?
Oh.
You go sit in a meeting that's a waste of your time, but by golly, you're sitting in a meeting, you're important. And I
Mhm.
really had to take a step back and go, okay, well, this thing gets canceled 9 times out of 10. Why am I still doing it?
Mhm.
I love these people, but I'm not getting any value and it's not aligned to where I'm going. It's okay to say no.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other side of it, I mean, because I can relate to that too. When I
Sure.
first went into entrepreneurship,
I mean,
right?
you're the one that pointed it out to me. It's like you look like a corporate.
Well, but I mean, like I felt adrift because I didn't have my calendar telling me
Mhm.
what to do.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't want that anymore, but I had no idea how to structure my day
Yeah,
because my between my inbox and my calendar, my day was spoken for, right?
sure.
I just had to show up and like put out the fires and move from
Mhm.
thing to thing. And so yeah, I mean that's the other beauty of mastery circle is like it creates those touch points in your day
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
that you
Very
don't
structured.
have
Mhm. Yeah.
multiple days go by and go, I don't think I worked on my business at all.
At all. Right, right. And then the last day we looked at obstacles because I promise you can have my children and my 6 dogs. Obstacles are going to come up because life is going to life. Life
Yeah.
is going to throw every curveball, every you won't even imagine what it throws at you, and we get to choose. I mean, we get to choose how we respond. And so we took everyone through a process to identify their top 3, and let's try to build a plan around it, and see if that works. And if it doesn't, learn from it, build another plan. It's kind of like a protocol. So,
Yeah.
like today, I've got 2 competing, um, what am I looking for?
Priorities, tasks.
Priorities. Thank you. I had a brain fart right there. So, yeah, 2 competing priorities. I've got things that I want to do for the business, but my daughter needs me to do something. And so I had to take a step back, and it's like, what's most important? What has to get done to keep the bus wheels rolling? And
Mhm.
it was like, oh, okay, this is doable. Yes, I can do both. I can't do it all, but I can do both.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And
Well, I
you're
think
right in the middle of it.
well, and I think the other thing around obstacles is naming them, that
Yeah.
awareness. So we did go through a plan of like what's a mindset shift that you can have around this obstacle. And this is where I realized that my biggest obstacle when it comes to my own mindset is the I should have. A
Yeah.
lot of judgment around how what I did or didn't do for things that it's gone. It's in the past.
Yeah.
And so
What can you
how
do?
how that isn't news to me, but it certainly gave me a different level of awareness thinking about it in the context of the goal work that we were doing
Hmm.
and how I can choose to step forward. The other side of that obstacle work was structure and process. Are there things that I can put into my day to day
Hmm.
checkpoints that will either let me know that I'm facing this obstacle and I need to get some support,
Yeah.
or it maybe you can minimize the times that this particular thing comes up. I mean, and the one that I think we all we all identified as an obstacle was we think we can do more stuff in a set amount of time than we can
Yeah.
actually do. Like
Yeah.
we just overestimate how
Hmm.
much
Yeah.
we can accomplish.
You look up and you're like, why is this taking so long?
Right?
Doesn't it always take this long? Why are you still surprised? Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, and I think that that's a super common
Mm.
if you're an overachiever as an entrepreneur. I mean,
Yeah.
there are we've already talked about there's so many aspects of the business that you're trying to keep all of those pieces in motion going forward.
Mhm.
Da 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 da. And it's like,
It makes me think of a clown with this plate spinning on the little I
yes.
mean, it's like you're trying to juggle and keep all those plates spinning, and one thing happens and they all come crashing down, and it's like, it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
It
No.
really doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And so I think, yeah, that was a good way to end the week.
Mhm. Mhm.
As far as the workshop content, of course, we did
There's
have our
more.
fifth day because, we really think it's important to celebrate the big and small wins.
Mhm.
Showing up for yourself and your goal for 4 days is
Yeah.
a commitment to be
Yeah.
celebrated,
Mhm.
so we took that time to celebrate and really reflect on individually how far did we come,
Mhm.
um, as a community, how far did we, how much did we gain in that process? And just really um, pat ourselves on the back because we don't. We minimize, like, or we just move on to the next thing. Like,
Yeah.
we urge everyone who signs up for the workshop, don't skip it,
Yeah.
because it's so easy to say, well, I've
Time
got
limit
other
for
things to
yeah.
do, right? But um, I mean, I love the fact that we really build in that time into like our workshops. We build that into the mastery circle on a
Yeah.
week to week basis. And then
Yeah.
at the end,
Yeah. 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 Because it's if we don't, we forget to do it. I mean,
yep,
we're as human as everybody else.
yeah,
So with the workshop, now Mastery Circle is open and we are excited about round two. We're playing a little bit along around with maybe timing because a lot of life has happened to both of us. But right now we are open. And I just want to make sure because if I was seeing this, I'd be like, oh, I can't join because I didn't go to the workshop.
mm,
Y'all, 4 days in 4 hours is not enough to dive into these topics. These topics were introduced at the workshop, and we are going to be working on them for the next 12 weeks.
yes,
We need it, our clients need it. So you are not behind.
no,
They may be a little bit ahead, they're just in the processing mode, but we can get you we're reintroducing these again and again and again over the 12 weeks because we're building a habit. So it's not
yeah,
like we just talked about it and it's gone. We're going to talk about it over and over and over again.
right. Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of the structure that we've put together. It meets you where you're at, where you are
Right.
in your journey. So
Mhm.
whether you're just starting out in business and you are like, I recognize myself in, I'm overscheduling myself, but I'm not really moving the needle. Or like me, like, I feel completely adrift because I have nothing on my calendar to, and my email's not on fire. So what do I like? How can I get some grounding? Or you're that seasoned entrepreneur that wants to like tackle um a new project,
Mhm.
be it a book or a podcast, or maybe you're launching a new program or a course, and you're struggling to, kind of find the time and the motivation to actually get it underway,
Yeah.
and everything in between. If if what we said about approaching goals from a more holistic viewpoint instead of the rational, right brain, like
Yeah.
logical mindset
Mhm.
appeals to you. Like, we're going to meet you where you're at, the
Mhm.
program meets you where you're at, and it's all about growth
Mhm.
over grind throughout the entire process. That's what
Yes.
we're guiding you towards is how can I prioritize that growth? And yep, you're going to work hard because
Yeah.
that's who you are.
Yeah. And I think the two biggest things we hear from past clients is it solves the community, because being an entrepreneur, it's lonely. It is
Yeah,
lonely. I mean, you got you, yourself, and I. And I'm not very kind to myself when I'm grinding, and the community piece, it's kind of like when I roll into my evenings, now everybody's talking to me and they're like, you're so quiet. It's like, well, I felt like I was around people all day and I just need a little bit, I need to be by myself for a little bit. So it gives you that community feeling, just being surrounded with people. And I know, even though you and I may not be on camera together, I know you're working on the business. So it's like, well, that's my inspiration. It's like, well, I promised this to Jenny. And so, yeah, I'm going to get
Yeah.
it done. And it's the accountability piece too, because the last thing you want to do is show up and go, yeah, I didn't get that done.
Well, it keeps you in movement. Like
It
there's
does. And it's
no
not that we
opportunity to
like
stay.
kick you out or anything. It's
No.
not that. It's just you're showing up. You find a way to show up for yourself because you're reporting into somebody else.
Yeah, and if life is lifing for you, we're going to check in and be like, "Hey,
Of
like
course.
how can we support?" I mean, we had a person in the previous round who life really lifed hard for her, and so we understand that and are going to meet you where you're at and provide that support at the level that you need. So I think, um, I mean, I'm a little biased, but I do think that. Um, I think every day that I know at 1:30 in the afternoon, I am gonna get online with my peeps
Yeah.
and we're gonna get some stuff done and I'm gonna get that little energy boost and
Mhm.
it helps me keep that ball rolling
Yeah.
even on the hard days.
Yes.
And it when you see consistency come up so much online and consistency and um again it can get very punitive feeling because you're like, oh, we think about it about our social media posts. Did I
Mhm.
post 5 times this week at the optimal time, right?
Right.
And it's like, but the real consistency is showing up every day and
Mhm.
doing something to go move forward, something
Yeah.
to move forward.
Yeah.
So we would love to have you join us.
Yes, we will.
So, and I know we'll have the link to.
It's
It's
already in the
actually,
comments. It's in the
yep,
comments. So the link is there if you want to check Mastery
and
Circle out.
it's masterycircle.biz. That's
Mhm.
the landing page that brings you. Will tell you all about the ins and outs of the program, and reach out to either one of us.
Yeah.
And we'd love to if you're like, I'm not sure, like,
Yeah. Great.
we're
And
here for you.
we're not here to pitch. We want we're here to help guide. That's all
Yeah,
we're here to do. If it seems like a good fit, we'll tell you yay or nay,
yeah,
based on where you are.
yeah.
So
Well, and the timing, if the
yeah,
timing is
timing's
good,
big. And the
yeah,
other thing I was gonna say, I know going into summer, I would always say, I'm gonna be too busy. I've got kids home. I'll just start back up after the kids go back. It doesn't have to be that way. You can have both.
yeah.
We're just
Whichever
conditioned
is,
that we can't, but we
yeah.
can. We can have both.
Whatever is supportive of you, if you're like, I want to, and maybe that's your goal, is like, how do I have the summer that I envision spending time with my kids and really
Still
enjoying it?
moving, still
Yeah,
moving, inching the needle forward.
yeah.
Not move, maybe inching the needle forward.
Yes,
So,
yeah. Maybe that's what your goal is really how to have both in a way that doesn't drain you
mhm.
or feel like you're needing to cut the proverbial baby in half, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
yeah,
Or feel that pull. I want to be doing this and this. You can, and we'll
yeah,
help you get there. Okay. We've talked long enough because we're so excited, but
we are.
we do have the 4-week planner still. The QR code is above Jenny, the other Jenny. And so that is the foundation of Mastery Circle. Go check it out and let us know if y'all have any questions, need anything. Renee, thank you for joining us. We see your comments.
Yes,
So,
we appreciate the support for
yeah.
sure.
All right. Go
Awesome.
move. We'll see you next week.
Yes.